All right. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. It is 11 a.m. Pacific, and it is a beautiful day in LA. Hot one. Hope you are staying cool. So, welcome to my channel. I'm just going to wait a minute or two for some other souls to hop on for those that are joining live. But if you don't know me, my name is Jamie Wozni, and I am a light activation guide and mentor. So, what the heck does that mean? I serve other sensitive souls, light workers, divinely gifted souls in coming home to their gifts, in coming home to their authentic truth, in coming home to their full magnificence. And what does that do? That actually brings us into abundance. Abundance in all ways, abundance in relationships, abundance financially, abundance in the form of getting to live the career of our dreams. So a lot of us are walking around not realizing we have all of these gifts to share with the world. And so those of you that are the gifted souls that have felt unsafe or sick or anxious and not really been able to see a way through, I'm glad you found your way here. And I apologize. I just got home from a vacation and the dishwasher was on when I walked in the door. So if it's a little bit loud, hopefully you can't hear it too much. But if there's a low hum, maybe we could pretend like it's a meditation music stream. Okay, so today's conversation, today's awakening, what I wrote in the message was moving from good to real. What does that mean? Moving from good to real, to liberate yourself, to find freedom. When we're young, when we have trauma, one way that we can actually give ourselves momentary feelings of freedom and control is to, you've probably heard fight, flight, freeze is a trauma response. Well, the fourth one that's been more widely recognized in psychology is fawn, which means just be nice, people please, put your needs over mine so that I can be safe. And it's a beautiful defense mechanism because it keeps us safe, and it's a shadow that teaches us beautiful things too. So we don't think, oh, this is awful, I have a terrible problem. Hubs is chewing on a bone. We're just gonna go with it. We don't think, oh, wow, this is a beautiful thing, but I'm so blessed to have been in the work that I've been in the last 10 years where, okay, what are the gifts from this shadow? What are the gifts from the people pleasing, from trying to be good? We learn to be givers. We learn to be heart-centered people. We learn to be empathic. We learn to attune to the needs of others. So it's a wonderful gift, but when we are in an extreme, thank you, sir. So when we are in an extreme with polarities, when we're on one side of the pole, we are either trying to be, too good, too people pleasy, too for other people, too much giving to other people and outward focused. Well, what we're doing here, we're so afraid of, well, if I let go of that defense mechanism to pretend like we're here and good, I'm going to go all the way to this extreme and no one's going to like me and I'm not going to belong in my tribe, et cetera, et cetera. But what I'm always reminding my clients of, and what I always want to remind you of, is there's a center. There's a balance. I'm not going to stop being heart-centered. I'm not going to stop being giving. I'm not going to stop considering other people's feelings. But what if there is a healthy middle where I don't have to be in this extreme fawn state? Because it does. It keeps your nervous system on alert. So the reason this is on my mind, well, in my business, this is who I serve. This is the journey we go on. This is my medicine, is moving from good to real. Because I know how painful it is to make sure everybody feels comfortable around you. You don't want to shine. You don't want to cause any conflict. You don't want to hurt people. Just stay safe. But somewhere along the line in our Great Awakening, we have awareness, and awareness is the healer. The awareness that the old way isn't working. And we thank the old way, right? We learned some stuff. Great. It brought us into all of these gifts. And now that I see what I need to see on a spiritual level, what if there's another way? And what if I can let go a little bit? Because again, remember, our brain's like, oh my God, I can't go to the other extreme. I'll be a bitch or an a-hole. but there's a center, right? So there's safety there, right? There's safety there. And I forget where I was going with this, but I'll swoop into the next point that I was going to make. The reason this is on my mind, I was saying this is my medicine, but I was just on a trip with a friend and this theme kept coming up and coming up. And I thought, wow, this is material for my liberation and material to share with others. That where our real safety lives, oh, that's what I was saying before. Our real safety doesn't live in the defense mechanism. It's called a defense mechanism for a reason. In the moment of trauma, in the moment of difficulty, it comes in to help us not feel immense pain. And then when we're an adult, we can say to ourselves, I'm here now. I can handle this. When I was little, I couldn't handle the helplessness or the grief or the heartbreak. But as an adult, I can look up somatic healing, but I can allow myself to welcome 1% at a time these old feelings and this energy and to allow it to move through me. So there is a higher way that allows us to live in what is natural to us, where we don't need the defense mechanism. So we're all walking around with some level of secondary gain, meaning I'm carrying something around, I'm doing something, I have a behavior, I have a habit that's benefiting me in some way, even if it's hurting me. And we keep doing it because we think it's useful to us. So I'm drinking too much alcohol because it's bringing me joy. So I'm doing it because, and this isn't me, but I'm doing it because I believe it's giving me a gain, right? It's giving me joy, but I'm really innocently hurting myself. Well, how can I upgrade the system? Find my true joy. So that's just an example. For me in the past, I had no sense of boundaries. I didn't know it was okay to say no. I didn't know it was okay to honor myself. I thought, I'm not going to be loved if I'm different than other people. So my secondary gain, my little defense mechanism was, well, let's get sick. Let's have some illnesses and let's have some stuff so that we can hide in our room, so that we have an excuse to be away from the world. And we don't have to use our voice to hurt other people. We don't have to be real, right? Because I went into fawn. Like all of you that are watching this that can relate, the people pleasing, the making sure you're okay, the overgiving, the not taking care of your needs, the not saying no because you're afraid of conflict. So when we start to realize, I may not know what it is yet, but I'm willing to open my mind to a way that is healthy for me to exist in the world that I just might not have been taught. Hello, for those of you that are joining live, glad to have you here. There's another way I just may not know yet. And this is living in faith a little bit. It doesn't have to be scary. You don't have to be impractical here, but we have to open our minds to, whoa, I'm in a defense mechanism. I'm in a mechanism that is protecting the childlike part of me that experienced trauma. And this part of me is making me, because this is what our brain does. Our brain tries to keep us safe. So our brain will say, do not let go of that defense mechanism for anything. Keep it. It's keeping you safe. We can't ever imagine a life without it. And we say, okay, thank you. What gifts did I get from this? Where are the gifts in this shadow? And we can hold on to it. We can say, stay here. Yeah, okay, cool. You're keeping me safe. And at the same time that you're staying here, I'm going to open my mind to my authenticity. This is it. This is what today is about. To my authenticity, to my truth, to being real. I had a teacher say to me in the form of abundance in all ways. So we could say financial abundance, prosperity, wealth, provision, having everything that you want in your life, flow of abundance. And someone asked her, how can I be abundant? And she said, the most important thing is that when you are in your authentic truth, that is the doorway to your abundance. Because when you are in your authentic realness, from good to real, when you are real, you are in a vibration of just pure love, pure self-love, pure honoring, pure authenticity. And those are high frequencies because they're truth. Truth is a high frequency. So we are in a vibrational universe. So when you are in that vibrational alignment with your essence, everything that you need to be provided for will come through that doorway. Now, we don't have that conversation. That's not normal to us to say, oh, when I'm in my authenticity, that's the doorway to abundance. And I'm coming here to open up a new conversation to say, hey, is what you're doing working for you? Keep doing it. You don't have to listen to me, but what resonates with you is truth. And can I open my mind at the same time? I have compassion for my defense mechanisms. Thank you. They kept me safe. And can I open my mind at the same time? I wonder if there's something else available for me here. I wonder if there's a truth, an authenticity, a realness that I just didn't know. Because stuff's just passed down. And we assume because we look up to our elders, it's all just truth, right? Universal truth, but it's subjective truth. It's a lot of it's defense mechanisms and woundings being passed down the chain. And one of us, those of you here, comes into the family and goes, wait a minute. We become aware. We wake up and we go, this isn't helping. This isn't working. It's all I know. And it feels like the scariest thing in the world to let it go. But I wonder if there is another way. And so you can set the prayer today. You can set the intention. I want to know the true way, the authentic way, the real way, so that I don't have to be the good girl, the good boy, the good person, so that I don't have to constantly make you feel good, so that I don't have to constantly overgive, because it makes you sick, depletes you, it makes you anxious. And we think, I won't be loved, I won't be safe, I won't be enough if I'm real. But that's the total opposite truth. That is where we are the safest. That is where we are the most loved. That is where we are the most enough. But it's completely breaking the paradigm and going through an identity shift that we're not used to, because we've placed our safety, we've placed everything in being good. So this weekend, when I was on this trip with my friend and this theme kept coming up, we had two instances where I saw it even deeper. We were in an experience where my friend and I wanted to do something on our own, and someone else was in the conversation and kept talking. And it didn't dawn on me till the next day, and that's why this is okay in this work, we're all learning, that I could have been real, because my good slipped in. My good went, oh, this person's by themselves. I don't want to cut this conversation off and say, I'm here on a girls' weekend. I just want to, have this time with my friend. So it was okay that we had that experience because we saw it afterwards. But I had the opportunity to learn from it, to say, oh, I can be real and express just how I feel. And it will cause a momentary feeling of discomfort. And then on the side of that is my liberation, is my authenticity, is my abundance. And the world doesn't end. Some people might, everybody's used to treating you a certain way because you weirdly have given them permission to do it on an unconscious level. So when you start honoring yourself and you start even, last week I talked about do-overs. So watch that episode if you haven't yet. But you could say something from a good, being the good person archetype, being the good girl, and then say, wait a minute, because it's reactive. You want to redo it? So then you respond. So you go, wait a minute, hold on. I'm sorry I said that from this level. This is what I would actually rather say. And if you have to play over in your head what a real response is, that's fine. Now let me give you some structure here. How we can have a safe container to speak truth that is real. 4 things. Because sometimes we hear, let me speak my authentic truth, and we're just angry and we're blurting it out. And we're just like saying whatever woundy thoughts are in our mind. So you could blurt woundy and you're like, it's my authentic truth. I don't know about that. There is a deeper feeling of authentic truth, and it can be said through dignity. It can be said through kindness. It can be said through love. And it can also be very fierce and real. Do not, here's your 4. You might want to write these down. Do not blame. Do not shame. Do not attack. Do not defend. Do not blame. Do not shame. Do not attack. Do not defend. Because that can get woundy and triggering. Clean expression of truth where you do not need to be good. Because here's this other reference point where like, oh, no one told me this, so I've been in this good thing because I didn't see another possibility available for me. But when we move into something higher where we're like, oh, this is actually safer, I don't need this old way, we heal. We find peace. Those old neural programs, we don't need them anymore. We attract new situations into our lives. We attract abundance into our lives. We attract provision into our lives. We attract joy into our lives, more money into our lives. So, an example. I didn't need to say, I'm going to be over exaggerating right now, but I did need to say to the person I wanted to end the conversation with, shaming, you're being really inconsiderate right now, or blaming, how dare you talk to us more than we wanted to talk to you? Can't you figure this out? Shaming and blaming. Attacking, probably similar. You did this. You made me feel uncomfortable. You probably hear that in relationships a lot. And defend. Well, this is why I feel this way, And it's probably the most, my coach years ago said to me, it's like a woman walking out of a lake naked, just naked and vulnerable and open and raw. And it feels like the ickiest, gnarliest in the world to not shame, blame, attack, or defend. And you are just nothing to defend. And you are walking out of that lake and you're bare and you're naked and you just say how you feel. And sometimes it comes out in a sound. And sometimes it could be like, I'm really uncomfortable right now. Or, hey, my friend and I, it was so great talking with you. My friend and I just want to have our own dinner. That's real, right? I didn't have to be mean, but I also didn't have to say, this is too much. So you just practice as you go. And every single time, all you're enduring is a feeling of your own shame, your own wrongness. Oh my God, people are going to think I'm unlovable. It's all the trauma wound we're trying to protect. But your brain is plastic. Neuroplasticity has taught us we can heal. And so little bit by little bit, we set the intention. This conversation is bringing it into your awareness now. So we set the intention. Wow, let's notice. Maybe you want to journal after this. Let me notice where the good girl, boy, person archetype is playing out in my life. Where am I fawning as a fight or flight response to try to stay safe so that I can start to be aware of it? And when it happens, maybe we just first start with level 1. We let it happen. Okay. Whoops, have compassion. That's just programmed into my brain. I'm not doing it on purpose. And then like I did, we look back and we go, how else could I have done that? And we talk to a friend, or talk to people in this community. Or we play it out in our heads of, okay, what could I have said that was not blamey, shamey, attacking, or defending? Because we're not given this reference point for a new way. Okay. So from good to real. Good looks like it's going to keep you safe. And you're not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Remember, we're not going from this end of the pole to this one. We're coming into the middle. We're still going to be heart-centered, considerate beings. We're still going to be givers and lovers and there for people, but in a way where we are full first. In a way where we know we are worthy and deserving of self-honoring and self-respect and self-love, because what was healthy is that we should have, I'm holding should lightly, when we were younger, been taught, I love you unconditionally in your no's, and I love you unconditionally in your yeses. But we were taught conditional love. You're not allowed to have no's and yeses. You're not allowed to have boundaries. You have to have my boundaries. Your boundaries are all over the place. So we're not given that message. We're like, I have to be boundaryless in order to be loved. But it's a practice. I'm learning to be real. I'm learning to honor me. I'm learning to be authentic. And in that frequency, there will be more people who will think that I am enough because I'm believing I am enough, who will come in and make me feel safe, who will come in and make me feel loved because it's me doing that. And in quantum physics, life is a mirror of where we're vibrating. Not to take it to blame ourselves, but to take it, as you've heard in all my videos, as an opportunity to go, oh, I'm seeing this as a mirror. And where do I need to bring myself more into alignment with love? And we go slow and we go gentle and we allow ourselves to awaken from good to real, because we start seeing new proof to inform our confidence that when we are honest through love, we don't have to turn into an a-hole. We're like, I'm going to be real and I'm going to express my anger. It's like, again, if you have the structure of these 4 beautiful things, I don't have a word for them right now, pillars of truth, how to express truth, then you have safety. And there's one meditation I'll recommend to you. I can put the link in the chat as well. On my Insight Timer page, it's an app. There's a meditation on there that is called Finding a New Reference Point. And so again, when we're stuck in this defense mechanism and we can't see a way out, we don't even realize it's a defense mechanism. We're like, this is real. This is my life. This is what's keeping me safe. We're not even aware of it, but we start waking up a little bit, and we're in that middle point where we're like, this isn't working, but I don't know another way, and I'm scared because this has worked for me my whole life. And what am I just going to disappear into the abyss, and my whole life's going to fall apart? So what that meditation does is exactly what I said in the beginning. It opens our mind to, I don't know another way yet, but I want to at least open my consciousness and my higher mind. Your brain can look, when you do that, this isn't some like airy-fairy thing. Our brain can look through the Rolodex of what we know and our higher intelligence in the moment and say, oh, like what I'm saying, here's another opportunity to look at codependency or what's real or using your voice through truth. And it can pop in a new way. And you can meet people that'll share the new way, or you could have a book recommendation that helps you learn that it's safer to be real. And again, you might trigger some people outside of you, but you're safer in your own authentic truth, maybe triggering them because you don't have to appease them. They're not respecting your boundaries, you know? And you're safer attracting people who do respect your boundaries, right? So if we can endure that momentary discomfort that comes when we're real, it actually benefits us than it does to try to stay in good, in fawning, because that actually isn't serving us. We can let that go a little bit, see the gifts in it, find our way back to center, and then be in the vibration of authenticity, which is the doorway to our abundance, money, prosperity, joy, career of your dreams, etc. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today. I'm very passionate about this topic. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the chat. I will be here every Monday, 11 a.m. Pacific. And if you really enjoyed this, another wonderful next step for you would be to take my 8-week course. It's self-paced. It's called Liberate Your Sacred Light. It's on my website, jamiewazdee.com/services. I will also link it underneath here. And I take you through ways to liberate your authentic truth. How can I be an unapologetic version of me, a light in the world, and how can I shine? So it's 8 other ways, really fundamental ways that can open your mind to liberating your sacred light and being in the real version of you. So if you'd like to explore this more, I highly recommend that. It's a super affordable course, and you can go at your own pace. If you have any questions, let me know. Sending you guys lots of love. Let me know how this was for you, and I hopefully will see you next Monday or before then in one of my other offerings. Take care.